This conference will
Yes.
now be recorded.
Okay, the time is 5 o'clock, and this is the second meeting of November for Sylvania Township Board of Trustees. I'll call the meeting to order, and Dave, would you do the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Genuine,
Here.
Mr. Mahoney,
Here.
Mr. Crandall,
Here.
Simcoe here.
John, I didn't realize you were on the line. Do you want to do the meeting?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Well, I gave you a call, and Oliver didn't hear back, so I wasn't sure I could make it today, but I am here. Thank you. Let's do the pledge
I was
of
prepared.
allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes, and I'll move approval of our November 4th minutes.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Genuine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Any additions or deletions to the agenda from Mr. Turner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are no proposed additions or deletions from administration.
Would you just quickly go over our procedure for these meetings?
I'm glad to. So as usual, would like to welcome everybody and thank them for participating in the meeting. And just a reminder to please place your computer audio or phones on mute if you're not speaking. That helps improve the audio quality and helps improve the quality of the audio for the recording. And just a reminder, if there are any parties that are disruptive, vulgar, i.e. Zoom bombing, then they may be removed from the meeting. Thank you.
Do you have anything for the agenda, Mr. Genuine?
No, I do not. Thanks.
Mr. Mahoney?
No,
Any
thank
additions? All right. There'll be two opportunities for the public to be heard at the meeting, and this is the first opportunity for agenda items only. We'd just like you to state your name, and then you can speak when we get down to that agenda item. There'll be a second one for non-agenda items later in the meeting. So right now, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on an agenda item? All right, we'll move down to the Road and Service Department. Mr. Nash?
Good evening. I have two items. A monthly report was submitted. If there's no questions regarding that, I'll move to the resolution. Okay. Just a quick brief on the leaf pickup. We are on our second pass. We're in grids 1 and 2, which would be north of Alexis in the northeast corner of the township. We have contractors in the Westchester Woods area, Mockingbird and Nantucket area. They'll be working all that subdivision. And I also have a contractor out in the Villa area, which is south of Central, out on our western portion of the township. We're having we're having a lot of difficulties keeping the seasonal employees due to the COVID restrictions and other issues. They're having a difficult time filling the position. So it's a little bit slow this time around because it is heavy, but we'll get the second round picked up, and hopefully the majority of our large subdivisions will be complete by Thanksgiving, and then we'll wrap up right after that. And we're still looking to get a third round in December. But as long as the weather holds out, we certainly should be able to do that for a cleanup. So unless there's any questions, I'll move to the resolution. Okay. Resolution 20-209. This is asking to authorize the administrator to act as the chief executive officer and to prepare and submit the application for the Ohio Public Works Commission. This project is for the 2022 project, which is Flanders Road, North Flanders Road, covers the majority of the streets off of North Flanders back there, including some other areas in the township would be Summerfield, Culvert area. These are just your general resurfacing project.
I'll move resolution 20-209, authorizing our administrator to act as chief executive officer to prepare and submit this application for Ohio Public Works Commission 2022.
Second.
Call the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Nash. We'll
John,
move down to
hey,
the,
John, could I just tell Ryan Nash that there just is like heaps, to me, there's heaps and heaps of leaves out there, and seems like more than ever to me, and they seem like they're really doing a good job on getting the leaves up under tough circumstances. So I don't know. I think road department's got to be commended for their efforts so far.
Well, thank you. I just so we know that our staff, our full-time staff, including our mechanics, our janitorial maintenance man, everyone is working 6 days a week, 10-hour days right now to try and get this done to make up for the deficiencies in our seasonal help that we weren't able to. We were not able to fill those spots. So the guys are doing a great job. A lot of them are staying after, working Saturdays. So I commend them for all the work they're doing.
Great.
great, thank you. Let's move on to Mr. Turner. I think you're going to handle the fire.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as noted at the beginning of the meeting, Chief Ram was called away to a call. And if there were any questions regarding the monthly report from an elected official, I would be glad to follow up with him, unless, of course, the elected official interacts directly with the fire chief. There are 2 resolutions under the fire department. The first is Resolution 20-199 to authorize offering a 1994 Sutphen pumper to another political subdivision. And the 1994 pumper, this was twice placed on the online auction site Gov Deals for 2 different auctions, and in both instances the reserve was not met. There was a party that had offered $2,200, but then later withdrew the bid, and it was discussion with Tallis Ohio Career Tech School, which has a need for this type of equipment, and they offered to purchase the pumper for $500. The resolution in front of the trustees was drafted by Attorney Burrell to facilitate the transaction.
Any questions on the resolution? If not, I'll move resolution 20-199 to authorize the offering of the Sutphen Deluge pump, to another political subdivision.
Second.
Calling the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Next item, Oliver.
Thank you. Next item is Resolution 2207. This would amend a previously adopted Resolution 2153. 2153 included an offer to an individual for the position of full-time firefighter and paramedic. One of the conditions of the offer was that they successfully obtained State of Ohio paramedic certification prior to September 21st. That qualification was not fulfilled And this resolution would amend the previously adopted resolution to rescind the offer of employment that had in the past been offered.
Any questions for Mr. Turner? If not, I'll move resolution 20-207 to amend resolution 20-153.
Second.
Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Before we move to the administrator, does any elected official have any questions on the fire department monthly report? Okay, if not, then Oliver, you don't have to get back to anybody. Let's go on to the administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution 2179 was discussed at the second meeting in October. This is a resolution urging the governor to rescind prior executive order and Ohio Liquor Control Commission rule pertaining to the sale of alcohol for on-premises consumption. And this has been returned at the direction from discussion, the board at the previous meeting. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Turner?
No.
No, thank you.
I'll move resolution 2179, urging the governor to rescind executive order 2020-300 and the Ohio Liquor Control Commission to rescind rule 4301-111-180.
Second.
Oh, do we have any comments?
No, second.
Okay. Well, I have a comment on it, and I think that in the light of the governor's recent pronouncements like today, and it's almost seems like we're swimming against a tidal wave here by suggesting the governor rescind his executive order. So I would hope the trustees would think of just voting no on this for the benefit of Sylvania Township residents. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dave.
And I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
No. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution 20-200 is a resolution approving the reimbursement of the time that the JEDD secretary spends on JEDD 1 matters. This is a follow-up to a previous discussion amongst the trustees, the appointment of Samantha Didion as the secretary for the JEDD board, the township and city, in order to facilitate the reimbursement of the time spent on JEDD 1 matters, both adopt a resolution or passed an ordinance providing for the same. The JEDD board did adopt this at its meeting yesterday and has been prepared for the trustees at this time. Thank you.
Any questions or comments on the resolution? Okay, if not, I'll move resolution 20-200 to approve the reimbursement of the time spent by the JEDD secretary on JEDD number 1 matters.
Second.
Call the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Next item.
The next item is resolution 20-201, a resolution approving updates to the Sylvania Township substance abuse policy. The policy with proposed amendments in front of the trustees would clarify the application of the policy to CBD oils and medical marijuana. It clarifies the policy and its application to temporary and seasonal employees. It defines safety sensitive positions and in other areas aligns the policy with current practices and changes in practices, and also includes other minor language clarifications. The proposed changes have been reviewed favorably by Attorney Jim Walter, as well as the OPBA, the Teamsters, and the IAFF. I'd like to answer any questions on the proposed changes. Thank you.
Well, we all received a copy of this. It looked like a pretty good effort to myself. But are there any questions for Mr. Turner? If not, I'll move Resolution 20-201, approving updates to Sylvania Township's substance abuse policy.
Second.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is from the fiscal officer. Mr. Simcoe has 4 items.
Yes, I do. I
Go
have
ahead,
resolution 20-203, and it is a transfer of appropriations, and these are interdepartment fund transfers. We're just kind of, as we move toward the year end, we start moving money around where we haven't spent money in a particular fund, and we're getting near our allotted amount. We move money from a unspent funds to another. So we do this yearly, actually. So I'd ask the trustees
Any
to approve
questions?
the resolution.
Any questions? If not, I'll move Resolution 20-203, transfer of appropriations.
Second.
Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Next item.
Resolution 20-204 is a transfer of funds. And again, it's if you read the resolution, it's part of the fire funds transfer to the capital projects fund to kind of be consistent or to comply with their 5-year plan for improvements. And it includes things like life packs, thermal imaging cameras, fire hose vehicles, and fire apparatus. And so we're moving these monies from the fire fund into the fire capital projects fund.
Any questions for Mr. Simcoe? I have one, Dave. Is there a limit on the value for the capital? Like anything 5,000 over, or is it pretty much our judgment?
I think it's our judgment, but Emron, can you address that? Is Emron here?
Yes, anything over 5,000, we treat it as a capital item.
So are all those items, is it individually or like is it by a group of them and it's over 5,000? Some of those items look small to me for 5,000.
Right, I think so. We treat it as, yeah, but we treat it as a, I think so. You might be correct that it might not be individual item, but basically as a cumulative. I mean, like, we treat it as a capital because they are interrelated. Items.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll move Resolution 20-204, transfer of funds.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Next item, Dave.
Next resolution is 20-205, and it is we oftentimes with grant funds we have to advance the money, and then when the grant funds come in, it's paid back. And that's exactly what's going on here, and it has to do with a bulletproof vest grant, with a bulletproof vest grant. So we bought bulletproof vests, used the grant to get reimbursed for it, or at least part of it. And this is what we're doing, moving money around within these funds, reimbursing the fire fund the police fund for these bulletproof vests because the grant funds came in.
Any questions for Mr. Simcoe? If not, I'll move resolution 20-205, advance of funds.
Second.
Am I missing? Was that 204 or is it 205? Sorry.
05.
Oh,
05.
it's 205.
Did you second, Neil?
John Genowine.
I did.
John. Okay, thank you, John. I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
And lastly,
Your last resolution, Dave.
yes, it's a 20-206, and this is an additional appropriation needed for the coronavirus relief fund. And basically, we just have to account for some interest, and it's not, I'm not sure what your document says, but it was $22.88, and it's actually $50.43. So we're amending, I want to amend the resolution. It's a little bit higher amount, $50.43 is what we are voting on.
Any questions for Mr. Simcoe? If not, I'll move resolution 20-206, township appropriation from unencumbered balance.
Second.
Thank you, and I'll call the roll. Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall,
Yes.
Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
Keep everybody on their toes. That's all I have. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item number 11, which is the hearing of the public for non-agenda items. Any questions or comments that you might have, please give us your name and address. Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is an open discussion of reports. The first item is the upcoming budget meeting. Mr. Turner.
Thank you. Just as a reminder for the public, the budget meeting has been scheduled. It will be held virtually on Tuesday, November 24th at 9 a.m. And glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Turner? I have one, Oliver. You're going to give a hard copy to us ahead of time? What's the timing on that?
Correct. The budget information will be distributed via email, and hard copies will also be prepared for the trustees.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the next item, Chief Long, police report. We've all received it. Do you have any questions for the chief?
Sorry to see that Nancy's
right.
retiring, Chief.
Yeah, so am I. She'd been thinking about this last year, and her husband had finally retired for good. So I knew I was worried it was coming, and I dreaded the day. So yeah, I gotta see if I can find somebody. I tell her I can't replace her, but I gotta find somebody to try to do the job.
What a nice lady. Yeah. Sorry to see her go.
Yeah, as she said, she's been working for 54 years, so I guess she deserves to retire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chief, I also like
to say something to her, Chief, but boy, convey Lee Simcoe's appreciation for her just contributions and a steady hand, and someone I knew I could count on any fiscal matters over there.
Yeah, I will definitely relay that to her. I know everyone feels the same way, and unfortunately, because we can't get together with meetings, there's nothing we can do at a public meeting or anything like that for her. But no, she does appreciate that. She understands that. Thank you.
Yes.
Chief, also, I thought your trunk and treat thing was very good. I'd like to see that, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you took note of that. That was something I was very proud of my community affairs people for coming up with that. It was just a huge success. They got great feedback from the schools, and Actually, I'm waiting to see, and I think it might be Channel 11. The one Assistant Superintendent Tim Zeroff, I think, is going to nominate our officers. I think Channel 11 does something where they can honor some law enforcement people with innovation or whatever. And I think they've already reached out, and Channel 11 is very interested. So there might be a follow-up story from Channel 11 interviewing our officers about the success of that program. So yeah, I was out there for the one, and it was supposed to go from 5 to 7, and at 7:30, we finally had to go out on Mitchell Road and, cut them off and go, hey, we got to end this thing here. It just
We're
was
out of
not-
candy.
Yeah. So thank you for noticing.
Okay, next item is the zoning report. We've all received it. Are there any questions for Daryl? Okay, if not, I think we can move on to adjournment. I'll move to adjourn at 5:28.
Second.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Genowine,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes, thanks, everybody. We
Yeah, good night, all.
appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I know.
Thank you.